Hello everyone, I have the MX mechanical keyboards here. These are part of the MX line, joining the MX keys. First, we'll do a quick unboxing, then we'll see what are the new things laid out on the keyboard, compare it to the MX master keys, and then we'll wrap it up with some pros and cons of using the keyboard. All right, so let's go ahead and pop it open. Nice. All right, so let's go ahead and open this up. All right, so we have the keyboard here. So it does come with a USB-C cable, some more instructions, the USB bolt, a USB-A to USB-C cable. So here are the keyboards side by side. There is no difference other than the switch type within these two keyboards. This one again is gonna be clicky, and then this one is gonna be tactile. There's two ways of connecting the MX mechanical keys to the computer. The first way will be using the Logi bolt, which is the USB. You plug that to your computer. The second way will be using Bluetooth. Number 2 and number 3 will be available for any device. What is it like typing with the MX mechanical keys? Well, I must say it does feel just like a gamer's keyboard versus the MX keys where it felt more like a laptop keyboard. I do find myself typing a lot much faster with the clicky version versus the tactile, and here are the results. Let's do an ASMR sound test. Some people might run away from a clicky keyboard. These aren't as loud as other annoying brands. Logitech did a pretty good job controlling the sound on this. So there are different backlighting effects which you could change using the FN and then the light button. First one we have is static, which is just a static light all across. And you have contrast. Essentially on the darker keys, it's a lot more brighter than the gray keys. You have breathing. It just looks like it's breathing. You have waves, you have reaction, which is based on how I type, and you'll see them, and then you have random. Now to talk about the differences between the MX keys and the MX mechanical. On an overall design, you could see that the MX keys is more rounded, like the escape key, control key, enter key, and also the lock key. Whereas with the MX mechanical, it's a lot more of a rectangle shape. Another change is how some of the words were displayed. Right here, it had more room to say the whole word backspace. I still think this had room to say backspace, but it is now just called back. And this also applies in these areas where it says insert, delete home, and so forth. Whereas here, it just shows, you know, the abbreviated words. One of the bigger differences has to do with the function keys, like the F5 now allows speech detection, F6 is a quicker access to emojis, F7 for example will be screenshot, and then a quicker way to mute your calls, for example on Zoom with F8. This is a little bit brighter, more brighter than the other MX keys. Both of them do have hand recognition. I believe if you put your hand over, you see it's already turning on, but I do feel like the MX keys does a way better job recognizing my hand. Another thing, you wouldn't really know if you're on caps lock or not, but here it looks like it just blinks, whereas before it had a little indicator. I do have a couple deal breakers after using it for several days. Number one, the keyboard attracts a lot of oil from the fingers. I wonder what it's going to look like after a few months of using this, which only made sense to me. I wish they made it black, so then it blends in more, but because it's gray, you're definitely going to see your fingerprints. Number two, I wish the design was a lot much better. Like the new Razer Deathstalker, in my opinion, these are very similar. Theirs is really sleek and black, and it even comes with RGB lighting and dedicated media controls. Sure, you missed the top row of the calculator, the lock screen, but that doesn't matter because you could configure any key to do whatever you want on the keyboard. So for example, obviously I always want my number lock on, so I make my number lock the calculator button. And I don't have to worry about mistakenly locking my computer. Number three, Logitech could have used the open space to include lighting indicators like they did in the Razer. Sometimes you don't know whether you're in number lock or not, and there is no lighting indicator. For caps lock, it does blink, but it blinks quite slow, so you kind of have to stare at it to make sure it's blinking. The computer does show sometimes whether you're on caps lock or not. If you press it, it'll say caps lock unlock or lock, but that doesn't always work all the time. Number 3, I wish there were more dedicated media controls that were more independent. Having it to share with integrated function keys, I think that was a waste. Number 4, I use the calculator button a lot, and I find that when you click the calculator, it opens behind applications. Sometimes you have to look for it, or you'll see a hint of it behind an application and you have to click it before entering numbers. Versus something like the Razer, once you click the calculator button, it's ready to go. The 5th con for me is the top right corner. I find myself mistakenly clicking the lock button when I'm trying to aim for something like the minus sign. The MX keys again have the same layout, but it was a lot more spacious, so I never ever had this mistake. But with something like the MX Mechanical, being rectangle and everything so close to each other, this has been a problem. Lastly, it has to do with the backlighting. It would have made more sense that keeping your hands on the keyboard should keep the light on, but sometimes keeping it there while you're thinking or reading will dim the light or even take the light away, and then you have to move your hand and bring it back before the light comes back in. On top of that, say you're in a bright environment, but it's still dark enough for you to want to see the lighting, it would say it can't turn on because your environment is too bright. The MX keys did show as well when the environment is too bright, the LED will not come on, but the font still made it easy to see. But with the MX Mechanical, it does seem like it's a little grayed out and you just wish the lighting would be on. So in conclusion, do I recommend this MX Mechanical keyboard? If you're looking for more of something like a gamer feel or some of the gamer functions just without the RGB, or you want to upgrade from the MX keys, sure, you could go ahead and do it. At first, I was really excited for the MX Mechanical, but for me, the cons got too big and I'm just like, you know what, I'll probably wait for the MX Mechanical 2 or something. Hopefully, most of these things have been addressed. So it's almost perfect, but it's not there. In fact, I'm looking to just use the Razer Deathstalker, and I even forgot to mention with that keyboard, you could use it wirelessly or wired. Another no-brainer that I think MX Mechanical could have done. I get it that it's not gamer focused, but if you're gonna aim for something that has gaming features, then you should technically add those things. If you want to watch the video of me covering between the MX Mechanical and the Deathstalker 2, make sure you click the video right here. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.